Hey everyone, and welcome to the Why Not podcast, hosted by me, Yvonne, and Chrissy. In a world where everyone is asking you why, we are asking why not.
Hi, my name's Chrissy. I'm a personal trainer, gym enthusiast, and part-time equestrian. My goal here is to help people feel better about themselves by helping them strengthen their mindset and their body image. And I want them to be able to do things that they never thought they could believe possible. So if that sounds like something you want to do, I want to help you.
Hey everyone, my name is Yvonne and I'm 29. I'm a body positive feminist yoga teacher. Been on this journey of self-discovery for the last few years, really just learning how to take better care of myself, fill my life with self-love, and just learning how to be kind and gentle to others along the way. I'm really interested in all things mental health and personal development.
Hi Chrissy, how are you?
I'm good, Yvonne. How are you?
I'm great, and you're all very welcome back to Why Not. You have myself and Chrissy here with you, and today we're going to talk about this concept of self-sabotage or kind of giving into impulsive thoughts. So I don't know if that's anything that you guys have experienced before. I know I definitely do on the regular experience these moments where my brain wants to like mess everything up for me and have to learn how to challenge that.
Yeah, I find that's a big part of my life as well, and I'm still learning how to beat it, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's because I don't know if you get this, but like the need to do, in inverted commas, the wrong thing becomes much stronger than the need to do the right thing. So even if you start off with all these good intentions, setting a new goal or going into kind of a new path in your life, but then eventually as the motivation wanes, there's that voice in my head being like, just stop. Don't do it. Just eat pizza on the couch, which is often a really good option.
Yeah, I totally get it. It happens to me all the time as well. And it's like, yes, stop that. No, you don't want to do that. Like, why are you bothering? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Just give up. And I think some of that as well is due to fear of the unknown. Like, it's not necessarily just fear that whatever you're trying to do won't work. It can be fear that it will work. And then what do you do? Because you're like, shit, I wasn't ready for it to work. Now what do I do? How does this work?
For sure. You have that like fear of success kind of.
Yeah, like it's a kind of a, in a sense, like keeping yourself in your a good friend comfort zone. And the fear of having to come out with that or doing something different, it kind of puts the mind into a, like, say, slight version of fight or flight, and they want to flight. Have you found that happens to you as well, that in that way, or?
Yeah, I think for me it's more cyclical. So like I will get points in my life, I would say maybe once every year. maybe, but it's like this overwhelming desire to just fuck it all up and just go crazy. And that might seem kind of weird, I don't know, but it's always been there every now and then within my life. I don't know if it's boredom, if it's no longer feeling challenged, if it's, I don't know. But there's always this need to kind of like just mess it up. And I just don't know where that comes from. But what I've learned in my old age is that you just need to sleep on those thoughts. Like the power of just taking your 8 hours sleep to process. So say when I was younger, I would have probably like got the urge to be mad or like do something crazy, and I would have just acted on it immediately because that was the urge. And then probably the next day or something, I'd be like, damn it, I acted really, really hasty and I messed it all up, whatever. And now I've kind of learned that like those thoughts will pop in, like where I feel the need to like change or drastically change my life, change the direction of my life or whatever. And that's okay. But I just need to take the time, sleep on it for one night, maybe 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, to come up with a full, actual, realized decision that's coming from a very conscious place, not an unconscious place where it's just like the need to act. Yeah, but being still able to be really fluid and adaptable. So not being stuck in for example, recently I've decided to stop teaching yoga, which I know you know. Maybe not all the listeners know.
Yeah.
You know, that took obviously much more than one night's sleep to come up with that decision, but the idea was in my brain for a while, and the younger Yvonne probably would have acted on that immediately and just done it and not thought about the consequences too much. However, older, wiser Yvonne took her time. There were like going back and forth over this decision lots of times, but eventually I realized that I do need to change, and I do need to change my career right now, and I need to move in a different direction. But it wasn't impulsive. It was a really well thought out decision, and in this case it turns out to be the right decision for now. But yeah, so I think for me it's more that kind of way where it's not a constant thing. It comes in cycles.
Yeah, I get you.
Mm.
I think as well when I was younger, I would have been the same. I would have been a lot more impulsive, whereas now there's a bit of that, like a slight more sensibility, where it's like, I can't just do that. That's ridiculous. You need to think about everything else.
Yeah. But I do really think it's
So,
important to know like that you're not stuck, and it is okay to like there's loads of people I know who think I'm making a silly decision, or not even that, but they just don't understand the decision that I'm making in terms of changing my career right now. But like it is okay. Like it's sometimes that is the right thing to do, to change it up. Just maybe if you are going to make a big life altering decision, just take your time with it. There's no rush.
exactly, that's it. Like, and yeah, you're right, you're not stuck. But I think people think they're like, oh, I'm in my career now. I'm going up the ladder. I'm going up the ladder. I don't like this ladder, but sure, I'm this way up. I better keep going. And there's always saying it's always better to be at the bottom of the ladder if it's the right one than halfway up the wrong ladder.
Yeah, definitely. Multiple ladders in your life. That's okay,
That is true.
you know?
It happens.
Yeah, well, it's definitely happening to me. I don't know how many different jobs I've had now, but maybe I'll find my calling one day. Maybe I'll change it up forever. Who knows? That's okay. So in which way do you kind of experience that self-sabotage streak?
So mine would definitely be, as I was saying, like if I'm trying to set goals and do stuff, I tend to be really good at the start and then I fall off and then I'm like, I was supposed to do that today and I get mad at myself and I'm like, I was supposed to do that today and I get mad at myself and I'm like, why are you doing this again? You always do this. You're such like, and I will literally beat myself because of it. No, not like outwardly, but inwardly I'll be giving out to myself going like, you didn't do this, or say like, I was like, okay, I'm going to do all this tomorrow, and then like you just end up like going on the sesh the night before and you end up lying in bed all day and then you're just pissed off because that was the day that I planned to do stuff. Like I have a habit of doing stuff like that and I'm just like, I get so mad at myself for it. And it's something that like I constantly struggle with, and I go through waves where I'm really good at managing it and not doing it, and then it's almost like I'm getting further towards where I want to be. And then it's like, okay, let's push the fucking button. You're getting too close to potentially achieving this goal. What are you gonna do if it happens? That kind of thing. I'm getting better at managing it, but I'm still not there. Do you know what I mean?
And what are some of the things that you would do to kind of manage it?
I kind of force myself into habits of doing things. Like, you know, I like writing things down. Now I've kind of fallen off that again, but I made a point of sitting down, writing down stuff for the next couple of days. So if I have it written down, I'm like, well, you have to do it. Does that make sense? Because what's it like? It's not until it's written down. So you can be like, oh, I think I'll do this, this, and this tomorrow, but I don't have a set structure of when I'm doing it, and suddenly it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, it's dinner time, bedtime.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have it written down, I'll be like, okay, well, I know I have that space then, I can do it then. Then even just like constantly doing those things, so it's little small wins, like constantly doing the things that you sabotage until it becomes a habit as well. So like if I say I'm supposed to be posting this, this, this for my business stuff, if I just keep doing it over and over again, eventually it will be just like second nature. And I have gotten a lot better. Like that's one of the things that I have gotten better with, but still not fully there. There is times where I just go, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to remember as well that there will be those times. You're not going to be perfect forever. Nobody is.
Yeah, like I totally agree. Like if it's a case of now, I won't beat myself up if I didn't do something because say like unforeseen circumstance, something happens. That completely is not my fault. But if it's because I just didn't bother, that's when I do.
Yeah.
When I know I had that time, but I spent that time scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or reading quizzes or stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? That's when I get mad at myself, because I'm sitting there doing this going, you should do that, you should do that. And I'm like, nah, I'll do it later. So, like I'm doing it to myself. I suppose part of the first step of that as well is having the awareness to know I'm doing it. Like some people might be doing that without even realizing, and then they don't realize why they feel so down about not getting where they want to be.
Yeah.
So at least I have that in my advantage at the moment, that I know what I'm doing and I know I need to fix it. And I know it's a constant thing, and you know what I mean? It's not not going to be fixed tomorrow. It's not going to be fixed forever. It's always going to be something I'll have to keep doing. But that's okay.
Definitely. And I think we are all like a work in progress forever. And it is really good that you identified that this is something in yourself that you like to work on, or you would like to be, again, I'm using inverted commas, better, because you're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to be better, but you know what I mean. Something in yourself that you want to work on. That means that it's like active in your consciousness, that it's to the forefront of your mind always to improve this, which is super. Like self-improvement is awesome. Do you find if you have kind of a purpose in place for whatever the goal is, that it helps you kind of stay on track?
Yeah, I guess like this were from exactly what we were talking about earlier. So at the start of the year, I signed up for half marathon to make myself run. And I did that as a challenge, just a personal challenge to myself, because I don't like running, and it was helping me kind of develop, be like mentally stronger by putting myself through stuff I don't like doing. So when it comes to other things, it'll make them easier. So that's why I started. And then the marathon got postponed, and the training was going pretty well actually over lockdown. Marathon got postponed. I went back to work, stopped doing it, stopped training, and I got really mad at myself because I wasn't doing it. And like I was like, I still have this half marathon. It's in September. I need to be ready for this. How am I going to do this if I'm not running? So I actually signed up to a charity challenge, to run 100 miles in a month. And I've started doing that. Now, subsequently, the half marathon's been cancelled, so it'll be next year. But now I do have that challenge, and I want to get that 100 miles, because now the challenge is bigger than me. So it's not just me doing it for me. I'm actually doing it to try and help out the Matter Foundation. And there's people who've donated, and I'm accountable to them as well. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I didn't make it, but I can't fail as far as I'm concerned now. This is not me just running 100 miles for the crack. This is for something. There is something to do. And I think that really helps as well. Like if you know you're doing it for something, as opposed to just as a little personal goal, it pushes you forward more.
Do you want to shamelessly plug where people can donate?
If you find my Facebook, you can, yeah.
What's your Facebook
Or if you want to
name?
throw some money to them, it's just Chrissy Hawkins.
Perfect. Just while we're on the topic, may as well.
Shamelessly plug my charity, guys. Guys, I've run 30 miles already.
Nice. What's the finish date?
16th of September, I think, or the 17th of September, one of them.
Unreal.
It's supposed to be the full month of August, but I started late.
Okay.
So I'm giving myself the rest of the month.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Unreal. So, like, you've already done, I can't do maths, a third? Almost?
No, not quite a third. Nearly a third.
Nearly a third. Well, it would be 33 miles would be a third, yeah.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Okay, so I'm maths in my brain. You know this from when we tried to pay a bill the other day when we got pancakes. I just saw numbers. I was like, I can't do this. I'll split this bill. I don't know. Oh, great. So it's the giving the goal kind of a purpose that is more than just doing it for the sake of doing it is helpful for you to stay on track and not self-sabotage or do something else that's not kind of on the plan.
Yeah, so you're basically making it bigger than you. Bigger thing. It's not just for you to make you feel good or whatever. You're now doing it for something else, or you have a reason to do it. And I think that can help.
Yeah.
I think you can transfer that to other stuff as well. Like, say, for instance, even for me, if I wanted to improve my business, I shouldn't stop thinking about it, just improve my business. I think about like how much toys I can get the guinea pigs, or
how many people you can help with their fitness goals.
There's that too, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I really that is my main goal in life. It's not making sure my guinea pigs can live in luxury and have their own little like helicopter or something.
Did you just say helicopter?
Yeah.
I hope that Spud and Nippy have a helicopter someday.
I wanted to think of the most ridiculous thing I could think of giving the guinea pigs, and that was the first thing that came to mind.
Like, if that's not a goal for being successful in business, I don't know what else is.
I will have loads of healthy, happy people who have changed their lifestyle, and my guinea pigs will have a helicopter. And if I'm really doing well, they'll have a helicopter each.
Yes. They deserve it.
Do.
So it's so funny, okay, because I come at it from a completely different standpoint, and I think we always differ on this kind of topic. Now, I just want to put it out there. This is not me saying that Chrissy's way is wrong in any way, shape, or form. I do not think that. It's just different. For me, the idea of doing something that I do not like just to get better at doing things that I do not like is crazy to me. Like, it's not crazy for you, and I'm really happy for you. It would be crazy for me to do that. For me, I feel like I'm the opposite. I need to realize that when I don't like them, that I don't have to do them. There's actually nothing making me have to do it. It's really easy to just go, no, actually, I don't have to do the thing that I don't like doing. But again, look, this is just a completely different outlook, and me and Chrissy do differ on loads of different things.
Yeah, like I know, I totally understand. It's not for everyone, and it's just it kind of works for me in a sense because I think I need to be pushed into things, or if I let myself, like I won't say glide towards it. I won't find it unless I force myself into things.
Okay.
That's why I do things like this. Like I originally heard about doing stuff like this from someone that I would like quite look up to in the online space. They've like very successful business and stuff like that.
Is
So
it Brian
I'm
Keane?
like, well, yeah, it definitely is. But like I've heard it, like, and he got it from someone else. Like he didn't start this thing; he got it from someone else. And I mean, all these people are incredibly successful. So in my little logical brain, I'm like, well, if I want a successful thing, I need to train myself and do stuff like this. Like, say for instance, like for me, it'll be easier to train myself to run than to make phone calls. So reaching out and asking people stuff, it's harder for me. So I'm kind of, it's little things. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like that, like say even, cold showers. A lot of people like that, they do cold showers. And I started doing that because of you. And then you stopped doing it.
I do still do
But
it sometimes. I don't do it religiously like I want. But yeah, I
yeah.
guess I understand it in that sense. Like I do the cold exposure thing a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So,
not easy. Like it's not like when I turn the cold tap on in the shower, I'm like, oh, that's lovely. Like it's hard. But I guess
yeah.
okay. In that sense, I can see what you mean because I do like doing that.
Yeah, so like that would be like, say, a habit that I've built up. So I literally do that every day now. Like at the end of my shower, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking hate this, but I'll do it. And sometimes it's 10 seconds, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 2 seconds, and I've jumped out the thing. But like, say for instance, that is something I do now. I run, which I don't like, which is another thing. So it makes stuff like those days where I'm like, I need to put something up or I need to do something. I'm like, you've done harder things today. And you're like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Okay, yeah. I think for me, it's
Yeah.
just been like, I think like am mostly outside my comfort zone all the time. And I would find pushing myself to do things that are really, really difficult to do. I do that all the time. Like, actually, the challenge is probably the opposite for me, is to be like, chill, Yvonne, you've done enough. It's okay to just relax right now. I think, yeah, like most days maybe not so much anymore. Actually, maybe a little bit at the moment, but before that, not so much. But like even just like getting out and doing anything would have been outside my comfort zone. So by the end of the day, I'm just exhausted.
That's really fair as well. It's different levels of stuff, do you know what I mean? Your version of challenging yourself is different to mine. So yours is getting up and going out and facing the world. And that's a lot of people's challenge. Like, I'm not saying that because that's your challenge, it's any less than my challenge. But say, for instance, I mightn't consider that a challenge. It's ingrained in me now. So now I need to push myself to something else.
Okay, yeah.
And also, like, obviously, the whole self care and relaxing and resting is so important as well. Can't forget about that. Like,
Yeah, and I think I do. Even though I will shout it from the rooftops that other people need to do it and that it's so important and this, that, the other, I forget to do it for no, I don't forget to do it for myself. I just put it on the back burner because I think it's more important to like go do my workouts or go do this or go do that. And then I realize then because I burn out, I'm like, I wasn't looking after myself.
I think as well. I think that's something we do. We are like, you're saying I differ on, challenge myself, whereas you prefer to do this. I think that's something we're both very similar on. Is we're both very go 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 go.
Yes.
What's the next thing? What are we doing next? What am I doing next? What am I doing next? And obviously, kind of personality is also very conducive to anxiety.
Yes.
So, like, if you're like that, you tend to have high stress levels as well. So, trying to get those times where we go, okay, what am I doing? I'm just sitting still. I'm watching something on Netflix. I'm having a stretch. I'm making weird sounds to the guinea pig. Like, all that stuff are the things we need to remind ourselves to do. Because even I find, I don't know if you're like this, but if I know if I've got gaps in my day, I'm like, well, I can get this, this, and this done while I have that gap.
Yeah, usually I just nap. But even that in itself, like, it's because it's so weird for me, like, because I'm so busy, like, say if I have like a 2 or 3 hour gap in the middle of the day, I'm like, what will I do with myself? Like, I'm so not used to free time that, like, gaps in the day, I just use them to nap because I'm like, oh God, like, what am I going to be doing with myself? Also, because I need naps and I love naps. But, like, I think there's a certain level of it where it's just like, what do I do?
Yeah, I will nap from time to time. That's because I tend to be up very early. But like sometimes I will have it in my head, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then I nap, and I'm like, God damn it, Chrissy, and there I am again, being like, you're self sabotage. But like, but your body needed that rest. Just fucking take it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's so good that you said that because I was going to say this to you earlier and I didn't. The thing that you were saying, like, you write down your notes for the days coming up ahead, and like, even if you just sat and scrolled on your phone, you're going to be mad at yourself because you gave yourself a goal and you had the time to do it, but you didn't do it. You sat and scrolled on your phone. I think it is important though to be adaptable with your schedule to the point that, like, say if you're like, I'm going for a 5K run today, I'm doing it, I need to do it, I have an hour between this and this, and that's going to be when I do my 5K run. And then you decide to sit at home and scroll on your phone instead. Maybe you needed it. Like, maybe actually the run isn't going to work today because you're exhausted. I think that's important too. Like, you need to be able to adapt when necessary.
Oh yeah, like in that kind of sense, I would listen to my body. But if it's a case of I spend too much time scrolling on my phone, I need to start putting locks on it, to stop me doing it. You know what I mean? When it's a case of like you literally just sat there when you could have done something. Now, a lot of the time when I take a nap, I don't tend to feel bad for it because like I know I need it
Yeah.
because my sleep schedule. It's a case more of a course of like, say on a Friday, I have a very free day on a Friday. So really, there is no reason I can't get this stuff done. But sometimes I just don't do it.
Okay.
I just sit there and I don't do it, and that's my fault.
Yeah.
So it's more that sometimes having an hour or an hour and a half is fantastic for me because I have to get my head down and do something. Like it'll push me to do it. Whereas if I have all the time in the day, and suddenly the day's off.
Do you know what I'm gonna do? Starting from Monday, I'm gonna do like social media, like no social media for 2 weeks. I'm gonna delete them all off my
Yeah.
phone. I've done this in the past and then I ended up just not using social media for years. Like, I had no social media for, I'd say maybe a year actually. I had no social
Mm.
media, which was, it was actually awesome. I loved it. Like, I deleted all my accounts, I think. Like, I literally had nothing, and then slowly they've kind of like made their way back into my life. But it's so weird because, like, most people's social media starts like way back. Mine literally starts from like a year ago or something because
Oh, really?
yeah, I've done it a few times where I just delete, and like, I don't deactivate, I just delete it. It's gone. It's
Yeah.
so nice, to be honest. I love it because sometimes, you know what, like, you don't need to be reminded of like what you did 5 years ago. Who the fuck cares? Like, sometimes it's nice.
Sometimes I love reading that shit, and I'm like, oh my god, Chrissy,
Yeah, I know. It is funny sometimes.
it's that. It's the photos of your ex-boyfriend. They're like, remember this? And I'm like, no, I don't want
Yeah,
to.
gross. Yeah, I definitely am glad I do not have photos with my ex. Like, honestly, I don't know if they exist anywhere on the internet. I'm sure they do somewhere. But I would hate to be seeing that. Or like photos of me when I was an absolute party animal.
I also find these very funny to look at for myself.
They are no, they are funny. Like they are mostly funny, but I also I'm such a different person now, and it's just weird to look back. I'm like, what was I even thinking? Like, it's just completely different to who I am now.
I kind of look at it in a reflective manner in that kind of sense. It's like, oh god, well, at least I don't do that anymore.
Well, that's true. At least there's progress.
I was always very like that as well with social media. At least some people are like, oh my god, delete that photo of me, I look horrible. I'd be like, yeah, fine, whatever. But like, I'd never say that to anyone else. So I'm like, in my defense, it's my fault I look like that.
Yeah, I
You know, if I hadn't
honestly.
had like, 3 Jaeger bombs, I probably would be able to look the same direction with both eyeballs.
That's a hard thing to do.
But like that, I was kind of always like, oh well, if a shit photos me on the internet, well, that's kind of my fault. So like I got myself in that position, so I'll just deal with it. It's just a bad photo. YOLO.
To be honest, I wouldn't be upset about a bad photo of me. Like, I really don't care like what I look like in a photo. Like, if someone gets me at a bad angle or something, I'm like, whatever. That wouldn't upset me at all. But I'd say it's more like the memory. Like, I just don't want the memory back. I'm like, ew, I remember that night. Like, I don't want to remember that night. Gross. Sometimes it's funny. No, you're right. Like, sometimes it is funny, and lots of them I would laugh at. But to be honest, they don't exist anymore. So I've nothing to laugh at because I don't know.
They're somewhere
I'm
along.
sure they are somewhere.
I gotta find them.
No, please don't find them.
Ready for the next Why Not post, guys. It's gonna be an amazing photo of Vaughn when she was young.
I'm still young. What are you talking about?
You're old.
Yeah. I got old when I was like 21.
Took me to about 25, I think. But yeah, no, I'm pretty happily old now. I'm
Yeah,
just like, yeah,
me too. I love it.
I don't want to go out if I don't know if I'm gonna get a seat.
No,
There's no guaranteed seat. I'm not coming.
I don't like.
If I'm going to a place that doesn't have seats, I'm not coming.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't like if the music's.
Thankfully, they're all closed at the moment.
I just don't really like going out that much. I like going out
No.
for dinner.
Yeah, that's nice.
Dinner and a few cocktails.
Mm,
I had a few
fancy.
cocktails the other day, and it was honestly the best 1 hour and 45 minutes of my life.
You just gotta go home after.
Yeah, and when they sent us home after an hour and 45 minutes, I was literally devastated. I was like, oh no, like I want to stay here for longer. But like obviously COVID, you know. But
Damn.
yeah, I know, like I would have had loads more cocktails, and this was of a Sunday afternoon. Like I was living my best life.
Wild ladies who brunch.
I know. I used to serve the ladies who brunched all the time. Like, and I used to be jealous when I'd serve like a group of ladies and they'd get a bottle of prosecco or something with their brunch. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so jealous." Now I am that girl.
You are that girl.
Dream big.
You can be a lady who brunches
Yeah,
someday.
you can. I'm unemployed and I'm a lady who brunches.
Lads, everyone, let's just quit our jobs and become ladies who brunch.
You can live that reality for a really short space of time because pretty soon my money will run out and I will not be able to have brunch and prosecco. But hopefully, I will have a job by then. So it'll.
If you have brunch, you won't have tea for the rest of the week because you can't
Yeah,
afford the groceries.
you get one brunch a month. You can pretend
And
to
that's
be
you
really
done.
fancy. I even had an espresso martini. Oh, my fave.
The notions of it.
Notions. I had an Aperol spritz and I had an espresso martini and I had Turkish eggs. Oh, so good. It was such a good hour and 45 minutes.
You're selling the dream right now.
Well, I'm gonna do it every Sunday until I can't anymore. It was so good. Chrissy, what are you doing on Sunday?
Sunday, I'm probably dying.
Do you want to go get brunch?
Maybe.
We can get a bottle of Prosecco.
We have completely digressed off our subject
No,
here.
damn, I'm so bad at that.
Anyway, I think we probably could conclude this podcast. Basically, to sum up, it is totally normal to have that self-sabotage or impulsive streak in you. It is probably more normal than you think, and it's okay to admit that about yourself. Advice, perhaps if you are having an impulsive thought, for example, I want to quit my job, or I want to, I don't know, buy a pony, whatever. Maybe sleep on it for one night, maybe sleep on it for 2 nights, maybe even sleep on it for 3 nights. It's okay to be fluid and adaptable. It's okay to change your life. Just give it some proper thought and try not to act exclusively on impulse. And Chrissy, how about you give the lovely listeners a few pieces of advice for self-sabotage?
So just keep pushing through that voice telling you not to do it. Make it a habit, get used to doing it. You know, if you fall off the horse, there will be days where something won't go your way, or, you know, like, don't blame yourself if it's something that was unforeseen. Don't be too harsh on yourself. It's a process. It's always a process. Not every day will be perfect, but if you just keep working on those systems, you will get better at it and you will feel better about yourself.
Cool. Well, thank you, Chrissy, for the chat as always. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening. If you have any thoughts on our podcast, we would love to hear from you. You can get in touch with the podcast on why.notpodcast on Instagram. You can get in touch with me at I have a new Instagram name now. So my new Instagram name is at just_move_sis. So just move sis. Chrissy, where can we find you?
Me, unfortunately, I'm still boring, and my name is Chrissy H Fitness on Instagram. And you'll also find me on TikTok at Chrissy H Fit.
Great. Thanks a million, Chrissy. I will chat to you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to Why Not podcast with Yvonne and Chrissy. We appreciate any support, so please subscribe and share and like the podcast if you can.